Hello, everybody. I'm back, and I'm so excited today. We're going to be talking with Christopher Caluza, who is a member of Team Philippines. He is the first Southeast Asian skater, openly gay skater to medal at a senior B. And I'm excited to talk to him. He's also has 5 years of professional skating experience. So we're going to talk a little bit about that world. And I think he joined. Oh. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Hello.
Oh, you brought the favorite hat.
Yep. How are,
Very, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Just
Good.
relaxing. I'm off work today, so
Nice. That's got to be good. Um,
yeah.
so I'm so excited to meet you. I don't believe we've ever met, which
No,
skating
but
world is like kind of funny because
yeah.
you get to know everybody. But
It's kind of weird because like I come from a generation of like say early 2000s, and then now I'm here, and you are part of the middle of the decade people, you know.
Yeah, I'm like that cusp millennial Gen Z.
Yeah. And yeah, like and being part of the skating community again, like in a sport that evolves, I'm like, wow, why
Yeah.
why am I there? You know, it's just crazy feeling why I even came back, but yeah, it felt good coming back at the same time.
Um, yeah, and that's so cool. So for the people that don't know, you stepped away from skating um, around Sochi, um,
Before,
before
well,
Sochi,
yeah, way after Sochi, yeah, after Sochi, I did, yeah.
in that time period. And then you went to the professional world,
Hmm.
and now you've made a comeback.
Yeah, I never made the Olympic, but I was close to
Hmm.
becoming. You know, at the same time, even if I didn't go, it didn't matter anymore to me. So there's more to skating than just trying to go to the Olympics, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, as somebody who did not go to the Olympics or come close,
Hey.
I think there's a lot more to it than just that.
Mhm.
So let's start from the beginning and we'll kind of get into your comeback in a bit. But I like the opening question, just how did you get started in skating?
Well, I was a roller skater with my cousins, and then this roller rink in San Diego was open to us, and then one day it closed, and soon my parents took me to an ice rink. Me being a 7-year-old, you know, I was also a little brat as well. So they they took me to an ice rink, and I imitated tricks I saw on TV. And then Chris Canaram's mom was
Oh,
actually the first person that saw me skating, and she got me to get take lessons and learn to skate.
oh, that's so cool. That's
Yeah,
kind of a fun
small
story.
world, small
Yeah,
world.
small skating world.
Yeah.
So then take us into your years on the international circuit and what those first years were like.
Well, I before I even wanted to compete for the Philippines, I wanted to make U.S. nationals first in senior.
Yeah.
And I could I don't think I was the most talented skater because I wasn't a talented skater. I was a driven skater, and it took
Which
me
is
years.
more important?
Yeah, it took me years to even get clean triples. Back in the day, I was not able to
Hmm.
respect elements as much as I do now. My
Hmm.
coach taught me. My coach Yuri Ovchinnikov, who was a former USSR skater and brother of my current coach, Natasha. He actually helped me realize what's real and what's not real in what I'm doing.
Hmm.
So it kind of made me better in a way.
Hmm.
And anyway, when I went to nationals in junior, then senior, I decided to go for Philippines.
Hmm.
After I competed for Philippines and the nationals, and then I went to my first international competition in 2012. I really didn't know what to expect, so I just try to remember where I'm from, where my
Mm-hmm.
skills are from, and I I made my first medal in Bavarian Open in 2012. Then the week later, I had to go to Four Continents because I qualified a week before Four Continents.
Oh my gosh,
I
that's
I literally went. I still remember this like it's yesterday. I
yeah.
went to Oberstdorf for 4 or 3 days for the competition. I left, landed at home, then went to Colorado, Four Continents, and then I made top 12 there. And then a month later, I went to Nice, which was my first Worlds, and that was nerve wracking because I'd never been to Worlds and I'd never seen the world stage before. And,
Mm-hmm.
and it was actually one of the most beautiful venues I've ever seen, and
Mm-hmm.
a beautiful location as well. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and I just did the best I could to represent the country. And my goal was to um, qualify for the free program, which not a lot of skaters have done before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I am proud of myself, for doing that.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I think a huge accomplishment, especially coming off of like Bavarian Four Continents Worlds back to back to back.
Right.
For people that like don't know or skaters who haven't had back to back events, like that is one of the toughest things, I think.
Oh yeah, I was tired. I was tired, but I it was worth it though.
Yeah, for sure.
And that was over almost 8 years ago. As we
Yeah.
say.
Um, so I guess speaking of like back-to-back performances,
Mhm.
so you sort of had this very impressive career,
Yeah.
took back from competitive skating,
Hmm.
joined the professional show world. Can you kind of give us an idea of what that was like?
Oh, let me tell you guys, a lot of people will discourage a lot of skaters this, but it was one of the best times of my life.
Back in
I,
that.
I learned. weren't you in, by the way, weren't you in Cirque?
Yeah, I was with Cirque until
Yeah.
COVID.
I have friends who are in Cirque as well, so yeah.
I love that cast, so
Anyway,
we're gonna gush about our mutual friends.
from the show world was one of the best times of my life. I've actually learned a lot more about myself compared to being in competition mode or in being stuck in the same location, being around the same people. You don't really progress as you're around the same people.
Hmm.
So I had to do something different, especially after I quit competing because it was very expensive. And I didn't have sponsors or anything, so I had to do something else with my life and keep the weight off my family's shoulders with all the finance. And so I
Hmm.
skating, and before I went to show skating, I had 8 months of identity issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
yeah,
Familiar with
and skating world, and the professional skating world opened my eye to different things like people from around the world. I skate on cruise ships, so I got to meet people from all around the world.
so cool.
Yeah, and meeting people from all around the world, you learn more about how to behave and how to carry yourself. And then you learn more about yourself when you're around people you may or may not like. But,
Hmm.
you know, as time goes on, it's really much character building as you leave the sport. You learn more about yourself and you learn what to avoid in life and learn what you want to succeed for, and you learn that you have different talents. There's more to life than just skating.
Absolutely. And I think you also learn that there's more to skating
Mhm.
than competition. Uh,
Yes.
and it is sort of interesting you touched on how there's sometimes like a stigma with professional
Yeah.
skating.
Yeah.
I find so strange because the reality is that like for so many of us, we
Hmm.
go broke trying to make it
Right.
in the
Right.
like I think that's something we have to talk about is skating is so expensive and it's not really this system built for everybody to keep going. Like Joe
Right.
about the fact that we left in very large part to financial.
Right. Pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah, and so I think maybe it's good we're talking about how the professional world is out there, and one, you can make money off this thing that you've been doing your whole life.
And you can enjoy it as
Yeah.
well. Yes. And like I see all these, let me tell you something. When I came back home after my first 6 month contract on ship,
Mhm.
I I go back to the rink and I see all these kids doing triples and long programs. I'm like, you do that. You go do that. I have my margarita, my plane ticket, my income. You know what I mean? Go do that. You get your Olympic gold. I'm good here.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, that was it was funny. But then after 5 years, I came back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so show world is great. What, and I mean, I'm in a place where like I don't, I you know, you miss competing a little bit, but like I don't know if I.
Little, not like a lot, but a little bit. But like I came back for a good reason though.
Yeah, what made you want to come back?
So I found out that the Philippines was hosting the Southeast Asia Games, and so they asked me to compete again for them. And you know what? Why not? Since I didn't go to the Olympics, it's pretty much like the Olympics.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
well, sorry, I came back and oh my goodness, I was out of shape, like competitive shape. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I had big changes. I had to change everything I did
Mhm.
when I sleep to when I eat, and yeah, I had. It was hard. It was really hard actually,
Mhm.
just back. But when they were hosting the Southeast Asia Games, we're pretty much like the eye of the Philippines. We
Mhm.
had to show pride to the country and all that.
Mhm.
And I came back because it was a good time for me to be part of the team again. Seeing
Mhm.
that more skaters now, and we have a pair team now, and one of my colleagues, Adrian Celestino, he's an amazing, beautiful skater,
Mhm.
and I'm proud of being part of that team now. So why not? And I realize, as I said before, there's more to life than skating. I'll always have options. If I don't,
Mhm.
if it doesn't work out, I'll always have options. So
Mhm. Yeah, that's so inspiring, and I think it's just cool to see that doors are never fully closed for anybody.
oh
Uh,
no.
and I think that's something important to remember. Because it can feel like in the moment, like, oh, this is like the end of my career, or like the end of, and
Right.
that's almost like when I've thought those things, it's almost never the case.
Oh, oh no. There's a bigger life than it's skating. Like you could learn to dance, you can learn to you can learn a lot of things. You can go to school. Oh,
Mhm.
find a new identity.
And in skating, it's like usually like your career is over when you're so young.
Hmm.
Like you have a whole life ahead of you. It's never too late to keep pursuing these things.
Oh no.
And so you've made your comeback and you've kind of been killing
Yeah, and
it.
it's killing my body as well. you know? But yeah, it was I didn't expect myself to even like do clean free programs in 3 challenger series. I'm like, how did I do this? How did I like even you as a show skater, how did you think I even do this?
You know what? I think there's something to it with the shows though,
Mm,
because some nights you've
mm-hmm.
got to pull that performance out.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're tired, maybe I don't know what you had going on that you had
Right.
rehearsal day, and like
Right.
I just know when I was competing,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes like you make everything happen perfectly. Like you go to bed on time and you
Right.
eat your snacks scheduled and like you do the warm up and the cool down. And like sometimes on shows, it'd be like, oh my gosh, the show's starting and my makeup's not done and I don't have time to. But like you realize that it's in you and you can pull out a performance.
Oh yeah. Like anything could happen. You have
Yeah,
to put up. You next thing you know, an injured skater is down. Next thing you know, you have to do their solos.
yeah.
But in skate, when I came back, the only thing I told myself that a installer told me. He says it's just an ice show.
Hmm.
Yeah, no one will understand what it means. No one will understand what it means. So
Yeah.
unless you're part of the show skating whole world, then you'll see what I mean. I
Uh,
even I even tell my, fellow competitive skaters, have a
mhm.
good.
Yeah.
I don't think that means, but hey, well,
That's okay. But yeah, I think there's a little bit of magic that you learn, I think, on the
mhm.
show circuit that I think I wish I had known when I was on the competitive circuit. And I think it's cool that you're getting the chance to apply that.
Oh yeah, thank you. It was hard because you feel like you feel out of place after coming back in a sport that's evolving, seeing
Hmm.
all these kids doing quads, doing all these crazy amazing things, and Hanyu is right there doing a quad sal in front of me. I'm like, wow, why am I here? What am I doing here? But I came back, just to do the best I can. Yeah.
That that's so relatable. I feel like so many times I was at competitions and I was just like, wow, like I hope I get on the practice ice with Madison Humble. Just to be like on the ice with her.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that feeling of belonging.
Yeah. Um, so I mean, and these people like they become your friends, right? And you're just like, this is weird because like
Yeah.
you're so
And
cool and good at skating.
and some people remember me, which is very weird because not a lot I don't remember a lot of people, but they, which was it was flattering because I didn't know I had an impression on them.
Yeah, that's really cool to kind of see even years later that your skating affected them.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, fun time.
yeah, okay. So I want to touch on a little bit with your coming out story and kind of how
Mhm.
that happened and its relationship to your skating.
So, when I was competing up to when I quit, I was not openly gay. So I was, during the time, the whole Prop 8 thing happened, no on 8.
Yeah, I
That
remember.
that was the best time for me to come out on Facebook to my friends and family.
Okay.
I'm part of this generation of young Filipino Americans, and I'm one of 30 grandchildren.
Yeah, I have big families too. I'm like one of 20 on both sides.
But yeah, my cousins are all supportive, and I'm pretty much happy with what my family is now. We're very different compared to before.
Hmm.
So that was the time I came out. But
Hmm.
then as time went by, I still did more self-discovery of myself.
Hmm.
I became. It's not. It's not always about me being a gay person. It's about me growing as a person.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And I also came out to my mom actually late. So I told her on Mother's Day.
Like this Mother's Day?
No, no,
Oh, I was like,
no. That was like 5 years ago.
okay, gotcha.
But my mother, she told me she loved me anyway. So yeah,
Oh,
and she was one of the strongest people actually that I've known,
that's so
and
cool.
that's where my strength comes from is her. So.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I mean, it's so cool. I think also now that you're able to return to the competitive world
Hmm.
and show this new side of who you are.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
because
I'm more different
it makes your skating better.
in a way.
Like I think everybody that I know who has come out has said some variation on like it changed my skating.
Yeah, it's not only the skating, but it's what you think and hear and like how you relax yourself more. And there's nothing to be scared.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's like definitely it's like a form of self-expression. And when you know yourself better,
Hmm.
that just like opens up doors to your movement and the I think restraining yourself like mentally
Hmm.
it has effects on your body.
Oh yeah. What you think in your head does affect it. Everything. Like what you put here goes out there.
Mm-hmm. And that pertains to people who maybe don't identify as queer, but just like when you have mental blocks or insecurities about yourself,
Mhm.
yeah, it comes out. And so I think it's important to keep being somebody who shows that there's an alternative.
Oh yeah. But in the end of the day, some of us are still insecure of ourselves as well.
Hmm.
Like I'm still insecure in ways of my how I'm growing as a person. Like, am I? It's based on how I'm thinking as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, like every day I look at myself in the mirror and I'm seeing all these changes in my face and my body and all that. I'm like, yeah, I'm not 21 anymore, so you know, you gotta let it. I let it go.
But
So yeah.
I think there there's a lot of hype within our sport on like the young ones
Hmm.
who are very impressed. Like not to take anything away from them because they
Right.
amaze, but I think it's this question of value, and I think there are other things to be brought to the table
Right.
as
What
well that should also be valued.
Yeah, what should be valued though is being self-aware of your value. Like how can I put this? You have to be kind to yourself, otherwise you'll never be kind to anyone else, you know?
Hmm.
And that's the only way I could have succeeded is being nice to myself because in a way you should be proud of where you are,
Hmm.
especially national skaters. You know, you made nationals. No matter what judges say, you made it there and you deserve to be there.
And
No,
that's like such an incredible accomplishment.
right,
Yeah.
right. And skating isn't always going to validate you.
Hmm.
And the only person that should validate you is you.
Hmm.
And the greatest role model there should be is you.
And be that for yourself.
Right. Like, because you may you may see someone as a role model or an idol to you, but at the same time, you never know what they are as a person.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think that's true. But I think also like what's cool about having these conversations is that it's offering maybe new sides of people that you didn't realize, or like reasons to look up to different skaters that maybe you didn't know before, or
Right.
stories about them that go beyond their skating
Hmm.
that
Yes, definitely.
everybody can learn from.
Oh yeah, definitely. Sometimes someone's story is worth more than a medal.
Absolutely.
I do respect a lot of people who do work hard as well. So
Oh
it's
yeah, I mean, I think it's so funny. Like skaters, I know, like we're all the biggest skating fans,
hmm
and so like, yeah, I like the world champions. I watch them, and I absolutely fangirl. And like, whenever I pass them, I get nervous to talk, and I sweat. Um,
Oh my God, so like I remember when I competed against Yuzuru Hanyu in 2012 Nice, and I
mhm.
saw him, I saw him as another person, a very talented skater, and after not seeing him for 5 years, and then I compete against him in a big international competition, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's he's a two-time Olympic gold medalist. I'm like, wow. And weird. I see him differently now, because he deserved to be there. And then I do fangirl sometimes when I see people.
Oh, sure. I'm like the most guilty of it.
I have to
My
wait.
friend,
I have to wait till I get to the elevator to scream.
there are like skaters that I've known for years, and I'm still just like, oh my gosh, like you're talking to me.
Know me?
Even like this, I'm like, what am I doing here? Like,
Right?
all of your careers are like much more impressive than mine.
Right? I just respect skaters in general. Like
Yeah,
seriously, it's just amazing.
it's a hard sport.
Oh yeah, it's a sport. It's also a what's it called subjective sport.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things I had to deal with coming back is I know that it's going to be different.
Mm-hmm. But I think, I mean, it's also interesting. I think the world has changed
Hmm.
since last time you were
Hmm.
competing, and I think maybe it's cool to see the skating world keep changing and like being a part of that.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
so, so I'm excited to keep watching your career. I mean, so what are you doing right now in terms of like training?
Well, I haven't trained in 2 months to be honest,
That's fair.
because I've been working with the elderly now.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm working with the elderly because they're on lockdown right now,
Yeah.
and what am I gonna do with my time? I don't want to like, go around do nothing productive, like being at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, home, but like, just not in public. I can just go home, go to work, and go home,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and I just do other hobbies like make masks.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
so cool.
yeah, and working working has helped me a lot, so I could just stay productive and not be worried about anything else.
Mm-hmm.
When I was stuck at home isolated, it was sad, but at the same time, it was enlightening because it gave me a little thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Because I realized, skating, we don't know how long this whole thing's gonna last because of what's going on now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I realized skating won't save the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and if the only way I could save the world is if I help people.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do now is that I walk people, I walk the elderly around just so that they can get a little movement going and seeing their families. It's just hard for them because you can't imagine being alone
Yeah.
and that place. So I feel good doing what I'm doing actually.
Oh, that's so cool. And I think it's a good maybe lesson to skaters watching who are a little bit worried about
Yeah.
not
You got
training now, feeling lost without being on the ice. And I think
you
you,
gotta sorry. Yeah, you gotta know there's more to life than skating. Like
mm-hmm,
there are professional athletes out there who are doctors and nurses.
mm-hmm,
Like I when I asked someone what they do and they said they're a doctor, I mean, that's incredible. And
mm-hmm.
and to be honest, I'm just an ice skater. I'm just an ice skater. But now I'm just a helper in a elderly assisted living place. So I'm happy with what I'm doing now.
That's amazing. And I mean, I think you know now, like skating will always be there.
Oh yeah,
Um,
you
so
know, it'll be here pretty much.
yeah.
And
Oh, that was so poetic. Oh, that gave me warm fuzzies.
it's just I'm just being myself right now.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Um, okay, and on that note, is there anything else you want to add, you want to share with people before we go? I think you've shared a lot of wisdom, but if there's anything you want to say to the people.
um, let's see. Well, one, just remember everything will be okay. This is not as is nothing as bad as sorry. I'm a little mumbly right now because I'm a little tired.
It's okay.
So what you see, what's going on right now, it's not as bad as you think it is, but the only way you can get better is if we have to be better ourselves.
Hmm.
And I know a lot of people are lost out there without training and skating, or they're not knowing what's going to happen next. But all you have to do is stay patient because patience is a virtue. Like, you know, even when I didn't have my moment in skating in before Sochi, I had it. I have it now. So
That's
yeah,
yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing your story with us
no
and
problem. And
joining.
no problem. Can I add a few things though?
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry. Keep
Oh,
going.
sorry. No.
That's the space is yours.
All right. Okay. I think three things. One, believe in yourself. Two, give it 100%, but don't try too hard. And three, remember every day is a show day. Give it 100%, guys.
Good advice. Good advice.
Hmm.
And for the people that don't know, Christopher is joining the SkateProud team with a lot of behind the scenes stuff. One of the core people that's been helping out with this project. So huge thank you to you
Thank
um,
you.
for being a part of this. And thanks for sharing with us. And we'll probably be seeing a lot more of you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I enjoyed this interview, even though
Yeah.
I was even though I was a little nervous, but I was happy.
Oh, it's okay. I get nervous for every single one. So I'm there with you. I'm probably more nervous than the people I'm interviewing.
Hey, it, as as I learned before, it gets better from here.
Yeah, and you know what? We're just here to talk and have fun, and I'm so glad I got to meet you. Um,
Thank you. Nice
digital.
to meet you. And also congratulations on your successes as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm just winging it.
That's sometimes the best way you can.
Yeah.
You'll get it
Okay.
right. Thank you. Have
Bye.